Welcome back to the shop for another round of SNS this week. I think I got a lot of good stuff in store for you. We're going to have another 2 episode this week, and I think this week we're going to have a lot of machine work to share with you. I'm going to hold off on the viewer mail another week for all you guys that's been sending viewer mail. I've got your stuff down here, but I've got some other things I'd like to share with you. Lately I've been capturing quite a bit of pretty interesting machine work, and I'd like to throw some more of that in this episode. And part 2, I'm going to have all machine work for you there as well. So, you know, be on the lookout for that. We're going to finish out our machine work for that telescopic cylinder that you seen me working on last week. All right. So we got a couple of announcements that we're going to talk about. That's pretty exciting going on, and I just wanted to kind of start with telling you guys thanks for all the support that I've been getting. Last week we had the video with Mr. Pete whenever he visited, and I just really enjoyed that, and I enjoyed seeing all the comments out there. Everybody just seemed to be really excited to see that collaboration between me and Mr. Pete, and I really enjoyed his visit. He's a genuine guy, and I felt like that we're just friends that just bonded whenever he come here, and I enjoyed sitting here on the stools with Mr. Pete and talking to him and just kind of catching up with the world, you know, and we just talked about a lot of things, and it was great. So thank you, Mr. Pete, for coming and visiting me. I really enjoyed that, and I look forward to hanging out with you and talking to you again, hopefully at the open house up in Zanesville, Ohio in a couple of months. I hope that we see you there up at John Saunders' open house. And also last week, you know, if you pay attention to the channel, we got the video for the Silver Play Button Award from YouTube that I posted up. That was kind of an unexpected deal. I knew that it was coming, but whenever you sign the paperwork there or you fill out stuff on the computer, it says it takes 12 weeks. So I just wasn't expecting it, and I had that box, and it was inside the house, and I brought it out here Saturday and opened it up, and I'm like, oh man, I think I know what that is. So I went inside, grabbed the camera, and I took that video so that you could see, you know, that was the real deal right there when I opened that box. And I really appreciate the outboard support for that, and I had so many comments on that. I think I had like 1,500 comments, maybe more than that, and I try to read every single one of them, and I try to reply to a lot of you guys. At the minimum, try to give you a thumbs up whenever I read the comment to kind of let you know that I did see it. So I do read the comments, and I wish that I could get to every one of you guys, but I just don't have enough time to reply to every single one, but I do go through them. But it was really great hearing from everybody, and that was a really special moment for me, you know, getting that award. That was a heck of an achievement to me. I know that there's a lot of people out there in YouTube world that don't make a big deal about that, and they want to hack that thing apart and cut it open and see what's inside and all that kind of stuff. I don't care about all that, guys. It's just you know, something that goes on the wall that shows my achievement, you know, and that's what I like about it. So that's what I'm going to do with it. I'm going to hang it up in there in the office and go along with all the other YouTube stuff that I'm going to be putting on the walls in there, and that's where it's going to go, is inside. So, but thanks for all the support for that. I really appreciate hearing from everybody, and let's work our way to the gold play. So was that a million subscribers? That's going to be a huge achievement for any machining channel out there on YouTube. I think AVE is about halfway there. He's getting pretty close to 500,000, but I don't think I'm quite as funny as him. I try to be, but I don't think I am. But I do try to share some chip making with you, though, and I think that's why you guys are here. You like seeing the chips being made and see the tools being put to use. So that's what this channel is all about, is bringing the machine work, the repair jobs, and showing you what I do day to day. That's what this is all about. So thank you guys for the silver play button. I really appreciate that. All right, so despite all the rumors floating around about about some Avon hand lotion out here in the shop, I assure you that there's no Avon hand lotion out here. It's only Josie Martin. Anyways, be sure to check out this old Tony's new video. I'll have a card up here for his new video that I collaborated with him with, and it was just a lot of fun, and it's just something to sit back and enjoy and get a few laughs from. You know, I told Tony, I was like, man, you are one heck of a storyteller. You know, he's just a great guy, and he's brilliant when it comes to video editing. So be sure to check that out, and hopefully you'll enjoy that right there. So I want to give you a big announcement that's regarding the Barzy Bash for this year. And what we're going to do, I'm collaborating with Keith Fenner at Turn Right Machine Works. He and I decided that we want to pull together a T-shirt campaign to remember the Forge All competition for this year. Okay, so if you watch my channel, you probably know about the Forge All comp that happened last year and the year before with Tom Lipton. If you haven't, go to Stan's channel, Shaden HKW, and check those videos out, please. And so last year, Keith Fenner, he won the Forge All comp, and he even had that really nice heavyweight, you know, brass belt that he had made for that. But he ended up walking away with the title there. So we're going to have a rematch this year at the Barzy Bash, and what we decided to do is that we're going to have a limited time T-shirt that we're going to put out there from T-Blaster, and we got with our friend Quinn Berry to do all the artwork, and he drew this up, made it kind of look like a old school, you know, boxing match face-off poster. So I'm going to show you the image of what the shirts look like right now, and that image is going to be on the back of the shirt, and on the front of the shirt, on my campaign, I'm going to have my A-Bomb 79 logo on the pocket. On Keith's shirt, he's going to have his Turn Right Machine Works Walk the Talk logo. And there's two separate campaigns there, so you can purchase one of mine that'll be black, and then or you could purchase one from Keith's campaign. His is the navy blue. And what we're doing here is this is sort of like a friendly competition to see who gets the most votes. All right, this is like your way of voting for your favorite YouTuber who you think is going to win the Forge All comp this year. So if you purchase one from Keith's campaign, your vote's for him. If you purchase one for mine, your vote's for mine. If you can't decide between the two, then pick up one from both of us. But so what we're going to do is, with all of the T-shirt sales from both of these campaigns, we are going to donate that to Stan at a Barzy Industrial to help support the bash. This is our way of supporting him this year. You know, we want to contribute. We want to be a sponsor of the event this year, and this is what we're doing to sponsor the event. You know, that Barzy Bash is not anything cheap to put on. It's a very costly event, and Stan pulls out of pocket every year to help cover that. And this year he's trying to add to it just like he does every year. I think he's getting more tents this year, covered tents with swamp coolers in them. You know, and there's food to consider there. There's pallet loads of water and drinks and Gatorade that he picks up. So we'd like to help pay for some of that stuff, you know. So all of the shirt sales, all of the profits made on the shirt sales, mine and Keith's profit, is going to be sent to Stan to help support the bash. So it's a great way to support the YouTube machining community out there. Me and Keith both, and the Barzy Bash. So we hope that you go and you pick you out one and you enjoy it. It's a limited time offer. These aren't going to be available. I don't know how often they're going to be available. I just know they're limited time, okay? So we're going to have, I believe the first campaign is going to be like 3 weeks. If we have time after that, we might run one more afterwards, and if we got time to get them out there. But so one more thing about this is that we wanted to try to add another little incentive to the campaign. And what we're doing is we're going to have a banner printed out of that image of me and Keith, you know, the face off there. We're going to have it printed out. I believe it's either a 2 foot by 3 foot or a 3 foot by 4 foot banner. It'll be at the bash over there, and all of us YouTube contributors are going to sign that, and then one person's going to win that. Everybody that purchases one of these shirts can put your name in the drawing if you want it. We're gonna have to get back to that, but it's gonna be an email that you send an email of yourself, a picture of you wearing the shirt, and then that'll put your name in the hat, and then there's going to be a random drawing at the bash for somebody to win that banner. Now, you don't have to be present to win. You just have to purchase one of the shirts, okay? And if the winner is not at the bash, then we will mail that out to them. All right? So, looking really forward to that. Me and Keith are really excited about it. The guys over at T-Blast are excited about, you know, kicking this off for us, and they put together, you know, a special page there to show the numbers of, you know, how many shirts are sold, mine versus Keith's, you know, that kind of setup. So that's pretty cool. So be sure to check it out. I got all the links in the video description down below, and I'll continue to share those for the next few weeks to, you know, keep you up to date on that. All right. So enough about that. I've got a couple new tools in the shop this week that I'm going to share with you. We're just going to take a look at one, and we're going to have to go back and revisit that, okay? But I just want to share with you what I picked up, something new for the shop here. I got a new tool that I bought as well, and I think that's about it. That's about it for the update. So let's go ahead and get to that, and I've got some other cool clips there to throw in this episode. It might be an extended length video, so I hope you stick around for all of it, all right? So this is one of my recent purchases right here from Jack Hoying. This is a 48-inch rule, or a scale as I like to call them, made by Brown and Sharp. And he had just recently picked up another load of machinist tools, and he had on his website there. And he had this one on there, and I told him, I said I wanted it. So I bought it from him. He gave me a good deal on it, sent it down here. So this is the longest one that I got now. I do have a 36-inch Starrett that I keep in the drawer over there. So now I got a 48-inch. It's a pretty classic scale. I can tell that it's been well used. It's got that classic rounding of the edges. You know, they're not super sharp anymore. Rounded on the corners. Got a hole in it so that we can hang it over there on the wall somewhere. And that's going to be a nice addition to the shop. So thank you very much, Jack. So here's the other new tool that I just recently purchased for the shop. And what I got, I don't know if you can see that there, that's a Newall. This is a Newall digital readout. It's a DP500 mill package, 2-axis, 12 by 30. And I picked this up from KBC Tools. They had a little promo running on their website for the DP500 mill and lathe packages, and I've been talking for a pretty good while that I would like to have a DRO on the Newall mill right there. So I've been kind of, you know, putting it off, and then finally decided I'm going to go ahead and take the plunge and pick up a DRO. And these are pretty economically priced units right here. These are under $1,000. I believe this one was like $975, and they have some other packages for about $950. But it's again, it's a 2-axis, and what I plan on doing is adding a 3rd axis on the quill, one of those Michitoya, like a digital caliper. I'm going to pick up one of those. I wanted to wait and maybe one of their monthly flyers will have that thing on sale a little bit, because I think those are a little over $300 a piece. So I'm going to add one of those to give me a 3rd axis. So I won't have an axis on the knee, but that's okay. You know, it'll be fine. This is an affordable unit right here, and I really like Newall products. I've got a Newall digital readout on the Acra mill at work, as well as the Birmingham lathe. It's the older models, the C80, but they work really good. They're made over there in the UK, and they're excellent. They have an awesome warranty. I think it's either 5 or 6 year warranty on the parts. Even if you damage them, they'll warranty them. So I want to go ahead and open the box up just so that we can take a peek at what the parts look like. But I plan on having a separate video for this on the install on the Newall. So be on the lookout for that. I'm going to try to get to that here pretty soon. Get the mill kind of cleaned up and get all this figured out, and we'll do an install with the digital readout. All right, we got the box opened up and just taking a look at it. There's the readout right there. Still got the little plastic protective coating on it. Got a nice heavy feel to it. This feels like cast aluminum, the housing there. And then all the hardware is in the box right there, all the mounting hardware. You got a guide, quick start guide that comes with it that's easy to follow. All right, we got this is the readers right here. There's 2 of those, made in Great Britain. You'll have one for the X and Y. All right, we got mounting instructions. There's all your brackets. So I've done these before. I did the one on the mill that's at work now. You know, we have a dual, and it's all the same setup. So all these go in there, and it's adjustable, so you can get it all indicated nice and square. All right, that's it. There's the arm that'll attach to the mill. Cast aluminum. So good looking stuff. This is a really good quality DRO. I've been using them for years, so I trust Newall. And like I said, we're gonna be doing an install, so it'll go on the Dual right here. And what I got to check to see is if those pre-drilled mounts is going to work, or if I'm going to just have to drill 2 new holes there myself. But the other one's going to go on the back of the table right there. So something again that I picked up from KBC Tools, and pretty excited about it. I'll have a link in the video description down below that'll take you to this unit that I picked up from KBC, and you can check them out for yourself. So I'm looking forward to getting this thing hooked up, and I'll be sure to share it with you whenever we get to that point. Here comes the Blue Angels. I'm trying to get them on camera for you. He's going to come right over the top of us. Dang. We get a free air show almost every day here. The base is a little bit southwest of us there, and almost every day around noontime the Blue Angels, they're out doing their practice, and they'll usually fly over the shop, I don't know, 2 or 3 times, maybe more, and it's just really hard to catch them. You know, we're in there working, and all of a sudden when you hear them, they're like right on top of you, or they just went by. So today's the first day in a while that I've heard them practicing, so I guess they're just now starting to do their practices. I thought I'd walk out and try to get some of them, but unfortunately I've only got the 2 so far. But I'm going to get some good shots of them this year for you. I want to get the whole pack of them, go right over the top of the shop just to show you guys. I've got a pretty good indicating job that I'd like to share with you right here. So what we have is what I'm building is a rod clevis, and this is a sort of a custom sized rod clevis that I've done a couple times for a certain cylinder that we do there at work. So this clip's mainly just about indicating. That's what I wanted to share. A lot of you guys that watch love to watch me indicate in the 4-jaw chuck, and I'm kind of known for doing the 4-jaw chuck work, and that's what I like to use. And I don't like to swap out the chucks either, just for a couple jobs here and there. That's why I normally use the 4-jaw. So on something like this, it's important to use the 4-jaw, obviously, because it's got 4 sides. And if you look there at the top, you'll see a steel plate that's welded across there, and that's to keep the 2 ears from squeezing together, and also to give a place for the jaw to hold down on. And on the other 2 jaws opposing that, I've got the brass shims in there, and the reason why I do that is because those jaws are slightly bell-mouthed a little bit. So what that means is that it'll try to bite in a little harder on the back side of the jaw, up closer to the face of the chuck, more so than it does out there. So with the pads in there, that gives it a nice even area, even with the other 2 chuck jaws, that the part will be held at, and it's not trying to pivot on the back side of the jaw there. So getting into what I'm doing, you've probably been watching me strike this with that hammer. What I'm trying to do is get the part running straight. Right now I'm not worried about it being center. We're going to work on that in a minute. But what we're doing is just getting it centered. So I'm running the indicator down each side of the block to try to get it straight parallel with the axis of the lathe there, you know, so parallel with the ways. Once you get the part straight, then you can go ahead and start getting the part centered in where you have to adjust the jaws. So I'm working 2 sides at a time. Since you're not working the same thickness there all the way around, you just work 2 sides at a time and you go 180 out. So you'll come into one side and you want to just bring the indicator in and rotate it and find your lowest point. That's what I'm doing. Once you find your lowest point, you rotate it 180 degrees and you're going to bring the indicator back in, try not to move it, and then you'll do the same thing and rotate it, and then you'll see how far out it is one way or the other. So that's where you'll come in and do your loosening and tightening. I believe I was pretty close on those right there. It wasn't too far out. So there we are, loosening and tightening that. So I had to push the block that way towards the right. And we'll come back in and we'll check it again. Just read your indicator. Take a mental note of where the needle was at. That's all I do. Take a mental note of it. Come to the other side and then check it and then compare your readings. And I think right there, it's hard to see it, but it looked like I was probably 5 to 10 thousandths off. I'm going to continue to do that until I get the block pretty well centered out there on that end in both sides of it. Get it pretty well centered. And then once we get it centered, we're going to go and we're going to check the length of it again and make sure that we're still straight and concentric. So we're gonna do a little bit more indicating right here, and I'll let you watch along. The 2 sides that I'm indicating there are pretty well centered, so what I'm doing is I'm checking it for straightness to see if I need to bump it around, because typically you're going to have to move it, you're going to have to bump it again because it tries to shift on you when you're pushing it through those jaws. So we're just giving it a good check to see if we're nice and straight, but I believe I'm going to have to bump it around just a little bit again. Alright, I think we got her done. It's pretty well indicated in. I'm going to spin it up here. I always like to do that to show you. You can kind of visually see how true it's running right there. And we're good to go. So that thing gets faced, drilled, bored, and threaded. I believe it was a 2 1/4 12 thread that goes in there. So I didn't get any footage of the facing or the drilling or boring there, but I am going to show you some of the threading that we do. And I'm getting it set up. I'm doing we're doing our scratch pass right here. It looks a little heavy there, but that's all I'm doing is our scratch pass. And we're doing it to check everything too. I like to do that scratch pass, come all the way up there and scare you a little bit, you know. And we're going to come out and we're going to check our pitch and make sure our machine is set on. I preach that every time to you because it's really important. It was a really costly mistake that I made in the past, that I didn't check the pitch when I was doing an expensive shaft job, and it totally messed it up. So don't matter how good you think you are, always check that, because your tumbler gear may be one selection off and you're just not looking at it to realize that. So I got that one set right this time. We're cutting a 12 pitch, Squirt a little go juice up in there to help lubricate the cut, and we're going to make a series of passes through here. Again, we're going to be cutting a 2 1/4 12 thread, and I took a little bit here for the making a few passes, and then after that we'll come back and I'll show you the plug that I've got made that we use to check them with. So I made a series of passes through there, and now I've got my shop-made thread gauge there that I use to check these with. I machine those whenever I need them, and I machine them to the specification using my thread triangles, and they're usually really on. They're usually like within a thousandth of what the numbers tell me that it's supposed to be at for the thread pitch. So just use that there to check the threads. I use some cutting oil in there too. Sometimes I use core oil or whatever I got around. Cutting oil works good too, just to help make sure that you don't gall the threads. Sometimes you might have a little chip still stuck in there somewhere that you didn't see or didn't blow out. But we got a good fit on that one. It screws all the way in and it fits just like it's supposed to, so that one's good to go. Now how about we finish this off with some good old-fashioned deburring using a file. I decided to go that method. Sometimes it's just what the doctor ordered. Get you a good file across there and deburr that thing. That's from the facing. It leaves a rolled edge out there from facing it off. So I thought I'd throw that little bit in there. Sometimes it's nice to get the file out and do a little bit of dressing with it. This is a butt plate that I machined and welded together for this cylinder right here, and after we bolted it on there, we found out that it actually pulled just a little bit to where the pin won't go down through the other hole. So I'm going to do a hand ream op on this to straighten the hole out. Give you a shot there so you can see what it looks like. Alright, so that's an 1.5 inch hole. I got a 1.5 inch reamer right here. Depending on how tight it is, we may have to clamp this thing down. I think that's going to work out pretty good right there. There we go. Drop through both. So let me find the pin. Let's see if we'll go down through there. Not quite yet. I'm going to have to adjust it out a little bit. Still a little bit tight. I got it stuck now. There it is. I'll give this one a little bit of adjustment. Try not to smash my fingers too when it drops down like there. So, alright, the reamer's going through, but it's set right on 1.5 inches. The pin will probably go. It may just have to. You may just have to tap it slightly. Let's see. There it is. Look at that. Sometimes that's all you got to have is a hand reamer. That's one of them old school reamers that we talked about in Shop Talk too. Adjustable. I made that little adjustment and it cut it out.